Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. How are you? Alhamdulillah, I'm also good. So today, inshallah, we are going to do the second part of lesson 16. But before moving on to the second part, let's revise the first part. In first part of lesson 16, we learned pointer ism in pointer fragment. So in the first part, we learned ism ishara in murakkabe ishari, in pointer ism in pointer fragment. And let's revise the important points for the pointer fragment. We know that this fragment is the combination of two ism. The first being ism ishara. And we also know that ism ishara is a type of proper ism. Ism marfa is a type of ism marfa. So important points for the pointing fragment is it's a combination of ism ishara and what? Yes, you can write your answer. Ism ishara and mushar ilah. Mushar ilah is can be any ism. Any ism can be a mushar ilah. Mushar ilah. And both the second important point in pointing fragment, what did we learn? That both of these components, the ism ishara, the pointer ism, and the mushar ilah, the ism that is pointed, both should match in what? In all four properties of ism. Four properties: status, number, gender, type. So that's the second point. And the third point is there should be for what's the condition for mushar ilah? Mushar ilah, the ism that is pointed, being pointed, like the ism that is being pointed. So there should be al at the start of second ism, which is being pointed, right? So there should be al. There should be al at the start of the second ism. And another important point is both in a sentence, when they come in a sentence, the pointer ism comes first, and immediately the second ism with al is there. So both should come in close succession, close to each other, very close to each other. There shouldn't be any other word in between. If there's any word in between, then it's not a pointer fragment, right? Yes. So, okay. And since we just did this revision, the important points, let's do this exercise. I know we did this exercise in our interactive session, but let's do this. You both are going to tell me the answer, and I'm looking at your answers. Oh, hold on. Okay. Hold on. There is something. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Identify which of the following are pointer fragments and which are complete sentences. So, first one is hadani khasmani. So do you see all conditions being fulfilled here? Hadani. So is this a pointer fragment or this is a sentence, complete sentence? Yes, it's a complete sentence. Okay, let's move on to the second one. Hawla il qawmi. And hazani, khasmani, no, yes, you are right that all conditions are not met here. Why? Because though they are coming close to each other, this one, yes, you are right. The second one is pointer fragment. I'm just explaining the first one. Why this is a complete sentence? Because there is no al in this on the second ism. So there should be al on the second ism if it is a pointer fragment. And if there's no al on the second ism, then it's not a pointer fragment. Over here, both are in Rafa status. Hadani, Ani, Rafa, Khosmani, Rafa, and they both are making a complete sentence. Okay, so Mubtada and Khabar, complete sentence. But in this, yes, you are right. This is pointing fragment, pointer fragment. And how? First one is ism ishara. Yes. The second one is another ism, and this ism is starting with al, and both are coming close to each other. And what about the four properties matching? Hawlai is okay. Let's leave this status because it's yes, both are plural and both are proper. Proper ism. Why? Because ism ishara is one of the type of proper ism, and al qawmi is proper with al, right? And because this is a fixed ism, it's not a non-flexible. Hawla is non-flexible, so it can be in jar status with al qawmi. Al qawmi is in jar status with kasra. So both are jar. Both are proper, both are plural, and both are masculine. Okay, now tell me about the third one. Bi hadal hadisi. Do you see a pointer fragment here? Yes. And is there only one combination, or do you see two combinations over here? Two combinations, mashallah, yes. So first one is the combination of B with haza. And yes, B is harjar, and haza is ism majroor, and ism majroor is in jar status. Then again, haza is ism ishara, and al hadisi is mushar ilayh. MashaAllah. Yes, you are right. There are two fragments here, and the second one is a pointer fragment. Okay, now move on to this fourth one. What? Just leave wa. Tilkal ayyamu. Tilkal ayyamu. Pointer fragment. Yes. This is important. Let's do four we know that both are coming closely. One condition is fulfilled, and there's al on the second ism. And let's do the properties match for this. Okay. Tilka is what? Tilka can be rafa, nas, nas or jar. Just leave it. And then tilka is status number. Tilka is singular, right? Tilka is singular, and tilka is feminine or masculine? Feminine, right? Feminine, and Zalika is proper also because it's ism ishara. Now ayyamu. Ayyamu is, as we can see that ayyamu is rafa with dhamma. And then ayyamu is broken plural. Broken plural, but we know that all broken plural are treated singular and feminine. Okay. And then ayamu with al, it's a proper. Now let's see if both are matching or not. Look, this is rafa, singular. Grammatically, this is singular feminine. Okay. So rafa, singular feminine proper. Rafa, singular feminine proper. Right. So yes, both are matching, and you are very right that this is pointer fragment. Alhamdulillah. Okay. Now let's move on to the next one. ذلك متاع الحياة الدنيا. ذلك متاع الحياة الدنيا. So tell me, is it do you see a pointer fragment here? Pointer should be with zalika, right? Zalika is ism ishara in this combination of words. So tell me, is it? No, you don't see. Why? Because zalika is not being followed with an ism with al, right? And even if there is ism with al in the sentence, but they are the ism ishara and the ism with al are not coming close to each other. There is one word in between. So this is not a pointer fragment, and it's a complete sentence. Okay. Now let's move on to the sixth one. وهذه أنهار. Is this pointer fragment? Yes or no? Yes, you are right. This is a pointer fragment, and the let's do again the four properties. Anharu is what? Rafa, right? With the ma. And anharu is plural, broken plural. Nahar, anhar. Nahar, anhar. So anhar is broken plural, but it's a non-human broken plural. So again, non-human broken plural always treated singular feminine. This is also proper with al. Okay. And now hazihi. Hazihi is ism ishara. It can be rafa, nasb, or jar. So, but we know that anharu is in rafa status. So let's pick rafa status for hazihi and then see other properties are matching or not. So hazihi, and then hazihi we know it's a singular pointing fragment for feminine ism, right? And ism ishara are all proper. So they are matching, yes. Rafa, singular, feminine, proper. Rafa, singular, feminine, proper. So they are matching, and so this is, yes, this is pointing fragment. This is sentence. Okay. Now this one, you tell me, Haza Rabbi. Is it fulfilling all conditions? No. Yes, you are right. This is not fulfilling all conditions because there is no al on the second ism. There is no al on the second ism. The ism that is following ism ishara doesn't have any al before it. So hada rabbi, this is a sentence. This is my Lord. So sentence. And what about hadihi sabili? Is this fulfilling the conditions? These? No. Yes, you are right. This is also not fulfilling the condition because there is no al on the ism following ism ishara. Now this one. Ulaika, ulaika thabul jannah. These are the companions of Jannah. So is this a pointer fragment? Do you see pointer fragment here? No. Yes, you are right. There's no pointer fragment. Why? Though we can see isme ishara here, ulaika, which is plural isme ishara for far objects. And we also see an ism with al, but there is a word in between. So it cannot be a pointer fragment. It's a sentence, complete sentence. Now this one. Inna hadha akhi. Yes, you are right. This is not a pointer fragment. This is a sentence. So inna is a harf of nasb. Haza over here in this sentence as haza is isma ishara and it's in nasb status. Inna haza, indeed this. Akhi, akhi is murakkab idafa combination. Akhu plus ya me. So indeed this is my brother. So alhamdulillah, we did this exercise for the first part of lesson 16. And in first part of the lesson 16, we learned pointer ism in pointer fragment. So we learned the pointer fragment, and now inshallah in the second part of lesson 16, we are going to learn pointer ism in other fragments. Besides pointer fragment, when we see isma ishara in other fragments. And before moving on to see what other fragments are and how isma ishara can work in those fragments, just keep in mind that most isma ishara are not flexible. We learned it. Remember in flexibility, lesson 15, most isma ishara, which are the singular pointing words like hadha, hadihi, dhalika, tilka, and the plural pointing words, plural pointing ism, ulaika and haulai. These are non-flexible. So they look the same whether they are rafa, nasb, or jar. So just keep in mind. And let's go to the like pointing ism, isme ishara in other fragments. So, okay. Alhamdulillah, we are doing lesson number 16, and so far we have learned fragment of idafa, harf of jar fragment, fragment of mausuf sifa, and harf of nasb fragment, right? And we know that fragment of idafa is the combination of two isms in which one is mudaf, the other is mudaf ilayh. One is the owner, mudaf ilayh, and the other one is the owned ism. And then we learned harf of jar fragment in which which is harf of jar fragment is the combination of harf and ism, harf of jar and ism majroor. And in mausuf sifa, both are ism. Both components are ism. One is a regular ism that is called ism zat, and the other ism that is there in the combination is sifa. So the defining ism. One is mausuf, and the other one is sifa. And then the fourth one we learned, the fourth fragment we learned was harf of nas fragment. And harf of nas fragment, we learned that there are 7 harf of nas: inna, anna, ka anna, bi anna, laita, lakinna, la Allah. And these harf of nasb, they combine with another ism and make that ism in mansub status. So this is a combination of harf plus ism, harf of nasb and ism. So let's see where in this list of fragment, the pointer ism can be a part of which of these fragments. We know a harf of jar fragment is a combination of harf of jar and ism majroor. So ism ishara can take jar status. It is fixed fixed ism, non-flexible, but it can it can be in jar status, though the apparently it looks the same. It looks the same. So yes, pointer fragment can come in the harf of jar fragment. For example, fi haza. Fi, we know that it's a harf of jar, and haza is ism majroor, and it is in jar status over here. Fi haza, in this. And then another example we have over here is li haulai. Li, we know that li is harf of jar, and haulai is majroor over here. And then in pointer ism, we can also see pointer ism in harf of nas fragment. So the pointer fragment when come in pointer fragments, when these come in the harf of nas fragment, they are in nasb status. They look the same, but they are taking nasb status because they are following the harf of nasb. So for example, inna haza. Inna is the harf of nasb, and haza, which is following inna, is over here in nasb status. The same way, inna haulai. Inna, again, harf of nasb, and haulai is in nasb status. So far we learned that pointer ism can come in harf of jar fragment, it can come in harf of nas fragment. And what about fragment of idafa? In fragment of idafa, it can only come as mudaf ilayh. Ism ishara can never be a mudaf. Just keep in mind, ism ishara can never be a mudaf. For example, see, bada dhalika. Bada is a special mudaf. We know that bada, fawqa, tahta, these are special mudaf. So bada is mudaf, and dhalika over here is mudaf ilayh in jar status, but because this is non-flexible, so it looks the same. But apparently it looks the same, but it is taking the jar status over here because it's a mudaf ilayh. And bada dhalika means after that. So far we learned that pointer fragment can come in harf of jar fragment, can come in harf of nas fragment, can be a mudaf ilayh in idafa, but can never be a mudaf. So it can be pointer ism can be a mudaf ilayh. Now the fourth fragment, which is mawsuf sifa. So the thing is, just keep in mind that ism ishara can never be in mawsuf sifa. So mawsuf sifa is one fragment that pointer ism can never be a part of mawsuf sifa. Okay. So here are some extra notes. This is the same thing that is over there. And yes, we did these examples. Now, important thing. Like sometimes, as in our exercise, we saw a combination, like the 2 or 3 fragments are there. One is idafa fragment, the other is pointer fragment. So how they work together? Let's see. In addition to the basic examples mentioned above, we also find ism ishara in more complex fragments. We find a pointer fragment, ism ishara or mushar ilayh, pointer fragment connected to another fragment. For example, if I wanted to say in this house, so this house is Hazal Baiti. This house is Hazal Baitu. But when in comes, then it becomes Fi Hazal Baiti. Because Fi Haza, notice that we have a jar majur fragment in the beginning, Fi Haza, and Fi is a harf of jar. So it's making Haza in jar status. And then Haza again, Haza is ism majroor with Fi. Then again Haza is ism ishara, and the mushar ilayh is again majroor because they both match in all four properties, right? So notice that we have a jar majroor fragment and a ismul ishara mushar ilayh fragment. That's the same that we just did, that they should match in all four properties. Therefore, they must match in status also. That's why al-baiti is jar in status, because haza is in jar status. Now, this one, another example, li hawla il qawmi. So, qawmi is telling us that hawlai is in jar status, and we know that li is a harf of jar. So that's why hawlai following the harf of jar is in jar status, and then al-qawmi, which is the mushar ilayh, that is also in jar status. The same way over here, inna hadha al-Qur'ana. Now we know that inna is harf of nasb. So inna and inna hadha is a harf of nasb fragment. So haza is ism mansoob. Ism haza is in nasb status because it's following harf of nasb. And then because haza is a ism ishara and al-Quran is mushar ilayh, so the mushar ilayh also takes the status of nasb because it's following haza, which is in nasb status. Okay, I hope you got this point. When two fragments they combine, they are there close to each other. We have some more examples from the same notes. Min hadhihi qarya, from this town. Min, again harf of jar, hadhihi is in jar status, and al qaryati is in jar status too. Then we have baitu dhalika. Baitu dhalika is which fragment? Can you write your answer in the chat window? Baitu dhalika is which fragment? Baitu zalika is which fragment? Yes, mudaf ilayh. So baitu is mudaf and zalika is mudaf ilayh. So mudaf ilayh is always jar in status. So that's why ar-rajuli is in jar status. House of that man. Okay. Recall that, and why it can never be a mudaf. Recall that a mudaf cannot have an al. Recall also, there is an important point over here. If we point to an idafa, so if we are pointing to a fragment of idafa, then the pointing ism cannot be in the beginning. Let's see. Pointing at an idafa, recall that a mudaf cannot have an al. Recall also that the mushar ilayh must have an al. So when pointing at an idafa, how are these rules reconciled? How would you point, for instance, at the fragment Baytullahi? We cannot say haza bayt. We can say haza Baytullahi, but it won't be the pointer fragment. Haza Baytullahi. That's a complete sentence. Haza and then Baytullahi is mudaf ilayh. But if we need to point at idafa fragment, then we are going to say Baytullahi Baytullahi haza. This the house of Allah. This the house of Allah. So Hada Baitullahi would not be a fragment because there's no al on the word following the ism ishara. So this is, as we learned in our exercise today, this cannot be a fragment. This is a complete sentence. Hada Baitullahi. This is the house of Allah, because there is no al on Baitu, and Baitu cannot take al because it is coming as mudaf, right? On the other hand, hazal baitu, haza baitullahi would be incorrect. We cannot say hazal baitullahi because al cannot come on the mudaf. So this is incorrect. How we can say, if we want to point to a fragment of idafa, we can bring the ism ishara at the end. Baitullahi haza. This, the house of Allah. The solution is to place the ism ishara after the idafa. The solution is, let me highlight it. Solution is to place the ism ishara after the idafa. The correct way to point at the fragment of idafa, Baitullahi, would be Baitullahi haza. Okay, let's see in these two examples. Fi amihim haza. Fi is harf of jar. Ami is ism majroor. Then again coming as mudaf. Ami as mudaf, and him is mudaf ilayh. Year of their, in year of theirs, and because we are pointing to that, haza is coming at the end. In this year of theirs. Over here, liqa'a yawmikum haza. Yawmikum is a pointer. Oh, sorry. Mudaf ilayh. Yawmi is mudaf. Kum is mudaf ilayh. Yawmikum haza. This day of yours. This day of yours. And then another example. Bi wariqikum haza. Hazihi. Bi wariqikum hazihi. With this silver coin of yours. With is coming from B. B wariqi is harf of jar fragment. B is harf of jar. Wariqi ism majroor. Then this ism majroor is also coming as mudaf, wariqi, and then kum is mudaf ilayh, and then hazihi ism ishara at the end. Okay, so let's do the exercise, then inshallah we can apply this knowledge that we just learned. Yeah, this is the exercise from the same notes, Bayyinah notes. And inshallah, how about we do it in the interactive session? Okay. Okay. So I'm closing the recording.